And I think he's getting to the point where letting them know that I can respect the chip, but there's no reason to disrespect, because this person is coming in doing the same thing. There's where Eminem is getting. I almost can hear and kind of know what Eminem is going to say in this interview, but what did he just say? He said that, hey, we don't get to choose what color we're born. We're born here and we've got to work with whatever we have. Basically, Eminem saying, look, I understand your frustration or whatever, and I can understand your chip on your shoulder that you may have. No need to disrespect, but the thing is that I didn't get to choose who I am. I didn't get to choose my color. We don't get to choose our race. We don't get to choose we don't get to choose those things. The only thing we get to choose is what we do in life, inside of the body and the race that we were given. We can choose to be negative and racist and bitter at different cultures. Why would you want to spend your whole life? Why would you want to spend your whole hip-hop life mad at someone's color? But once again, like you said, you don't get to choose color. So why be mad at it? I think it's the message. Why be mad at something simple as color when you don't get to choose that? Just build, just work, just make this better. Look what we have done for hip-hop. What a perspective. I look forward to the interview today. Hey, what is up there, guys? And welcome back to a brand new episode of The Evolve. How you guys doing? You know what? I'm doing alright. And you know what? I'm not really playing this guitar, but it felt right. It felt like I was, and it felt good. And you know what? Today, that's just what I want to talk about. I want to talk about someone else that kind of felt like, although it wasn't, but they felt like they have won a war that wasn't really a war or a battle, and they made us all fight this imaginary war. Today I want to talk about Lord Jamar. And let me first put this up. Okay, so today we're talking, today we are talking about Lord Jamar. Because as you guys know, recently Eminem, he was on the interview with Crook, where he talked more and he just went more in the final blow into the whole war and argument of guests and non-guests. Now, before this interview, I did do a reaction to Eminem's skit on Royce album, where he first talked about how, hip hop is a mixed pot and how all different races have helped build this up. Now, as you've seen in the intro, I stated what I thought that Eminem was going to say in this interview. And needless to say, I kind of was right. As you seen in the intro, I stated that, hey, you know what, Eminem, he's more going to address that we are all a part of this hip hop, and we need to focus more on, the art and more on people, and not so much, who's guest and who's not. Why would you want to spend your whole life and your whole career worrying about color? And that's what I stated, that I believe that Eminem was going to kind of take that route, more of the high roll route and the more of the humble route. And, when you look at Eminem's interview, that's the route that he took in. And I think he did it because, it's time out for, these dividing words and these dividing terms. And let's just get back to music and bring it back to hip hop. It's time out for interviews that their main focus is on a person or on a color, and we're not talking about music at all. So Eminem, he stated that, you know what? I've never said that I was not a guest. I've never said that I was the king of hip hop. You know what? Finally, he went on to say that, you know what? I am a guest in hip hop. He said it proudly, without conviction, letting everyone know, not as a metaphor, just in those plain words. Hey, I am a guest. Now, many were angry and many were upset, but for the most part, many of his haters and many of those that don't like Eminem or many of the racists, they enjoyed it. They were happy as they felt like Eminem, he just confessed. It was a confession, like it was a big breakthrough. Was it? You know, because it wasn't until now that I kind of understood that, you know, Lord Jamar, he has managed to bamboozle the whole industry. His haters, his fans, the stands, the media, he had created this mirage, and he had created this terminology that hip hop is about guest and non-guest. He had made everyone, including me, I even fell into it. He had made all of us care and really put a prime focus that hip hop is based on who's guest and who's a resident. We got so caught up in that term because of Lord Jamar, and it's a dividing way. It is a dividing way to separate hip hop. Yeah, it's more discreet and less harsh, but still, no matter how you put it, terms like that, guest and non-guest, you know, it divides us. It causes a separation. Anytime you are making a individual feel unwanted and unappreciated or a certain way because of their color, that's racist. No matter how you put it, that is one of the prime elements of racism. I mean, that's what they did. That's what they did to, my ancestors. That's what they did to black people long ago. They made them feel unwanted, unappreciated. They made them feel not on the same level. You're not on the same level as a resident, as a slave owner. No, you're not human. You're just a guest. You're just black. And you remember that. That's exactly what racism did and does. That is a prime element and a building block for a divide. And Eminem felt like he wanted to put a light on that. He wanted to show that, okay, if you want to say I'm a guest, I'm a guest. But at the end of the day, I care more about this art form than this term, and then to separate hip hop because it never was like this. Can you imagine the Ice Cubes, the Rakim, all the OGs running around back in the day talking about guest and non-guest and resident and don't belong here? No. They just rapped. They just danced. They were beatboxing, graffiti. They just did their thing and they built this. But once again, like I said, we all fell into this trap of Lord Jamar. And can I just say something? If a resident's job inside of the if a resident's job is to sit around and gossip and talk about the guests and the people coming in and out, that's all they're doing, then hell, I want to be a guest. I would rather be a guest because I see what Lord Jamar, the resident, do, if we're going to use this terminology, but then I see what the guests are building and that fire and that passion that they have. I think sometimes we can get so secure and comfortable in the tradition that it prevents us from wanting to do more and do better, because we're, like I said, we're comfortable with where we're at and who we are. But you can never get comfortable. You can never get comfortable with where you're at. You gotta always be striving for more. But I digress. After Eminem said what he said, let's just go over what Lord Jamar said, because he felt like it was a massive victory. Let's read some of the tweets. So once Eminem has stated that, okay, I'm gonna guess it, whatever. This is what Lord Jamar, he goes on Twitter and he has a little Twitter fest. Not one tweet, not two tweets, but 3 tweets on the subject. Let's read. So the first one, he says that, hey, this is case closed. Now all together, repeat after me. White people are guests in the house of hip hop, and black people that black people built. Thank you and good night. Mic drop. Don't drop that phone. Mic drop. So he's celebrating, and in his celebration, white people are guests. Everybody, repeat after me. The white bills, they're guests. Hey. But this is not separation. This is not racist, right? Like I said, at the end of the day, anytime, but that's not racism, is it? Like separating, whites from blacks but let's go on. He goes on in his celebration tour. But he goes on because then he has this tweet, check this one out, where he just pretty much talks about how Eminem's ego allowed him to go ahead and admit what he's been saying all along, that he's a guest. Okay, but it did not stop there. The tour and the celebration over the white devil continued. He said that, you know what? I guess his ego wouldn't allow him to say Lord Jamar was right the whole time. I was bugging for coming at him. And I was bugging for coming at him the way I did. My bad. I am a guest in hip hop. Oh, okay, I read that all wrong. Oh, but he didn't stop there. Listen to this one. He said, I guess his ego wouldn't allow him to say, Lord Jamar was right the whole time, and I was bugging for coming at him the way I did. My bad. I'm a guest in hip hop, in the house of hip hop. Wow. And I'm sure, this is not the end. Although Lord Jamar said that the case is closed, we all know that this was not about a case. This was not about saving hip hop, because really that is a straw, like I said, that is a argument that doesn't matter with inside of hip hop far as who guessed or not. It's not a serious argument. Content and the empowerment and the embetterment of our youth and of those to come, that's what hip hop has always been about, far as enlightening and giving us something that we never had before. It never was about guest or non-guest and black and white, or even as he put it, someone admitting that, hey, I'm a guest and I was bugging. Why would Eminem do that? Because this whole time He didn't care about that. At the end of the day, you were the one bugging. And as Eminem said, I've never said that I wasn't a guest, so you were fighting a mental war for the sake of fighting a mental war. It wasn't to save hip-hop, or you felt like he was being disrespectful for hip-hop. Because if that was the prime goal, then you know what? Lord Jamar, you know why we can't take his words and his arguments serious? Is because he don't even take his own thing serious. It's not about hip-hop for him. It's about Eminem, and it's about him own self being right in his mind. You know what? Because there was this person on Twitter, they said, hey, so here how I know that Lord Jamar's, his standard is not based on hip-hop at all, but instead it's more based on a personal vendetta and his own selfish needs to want to be right. Because someone on Twitter, they stated this tweet. They had said that, hey, Latins build it. Also, we've been there since the start and all the original hip-hop groups. So this person was trying to state that, hey, don't forget about the Latins. You know, we have helped build this too. You, Lamar, only talk about blacks and whites. You're always just on Eminem. Now, listen to Lord Jamar's response, because Lord Jamar, he says, facts. You know what? I consider Latins black people. So, you know what? They're a resident. They're okay. Just not the white boy. Just not the Eminem. See, I consider them black people. That's all right. They're good. That's why I don't talk about them. Oh. So, once again, this further push and further show that this was never a case of, this is never about saving hip-hop or anything like that. This is a personal vendetta. How do you get to pick and choose who's in and who's residents or not based off of your head? Once again, that is exactly what they did with slavery. Someone had decided just out the top of their head that, hey, you know what? That group of people we don't like, they're not residents. They're no good. Why? Because they're black. Or because they're white. I mean, everything is parallel. His whole argument and everything that he do, it goes in line, rather his fans or rather those that, you know, hate Eminem say it or not. It all goes on the same terms and the same things that they use with slavery. You pick, he has no scale. For those that may feel that, yes, this was a victory for hip-hop, because Eminem said that he's a guest. We won. I must say that that's sad if you feel that that's a victory. Because at the end of the day, no one person speaks and is hip-hop. Not Eminem, not Lord Jamar, not even an OG. It never was like that from the very beginning. And it's not going to be like that now. I think we need to take a page from Eminem's book that he took at that interview. And that is that we need to start caring more about the art form than who's a guest or not. Because I'm going to tell you, when you think about it, Eminem had two options. So, you know what? Eminem, he had two options and both was a double whammy. Many of his haters, they wanted him. They had wanted him to go on and say, hey, I'm not a guest. I belong. Honestly, the Eminem haters and those that cause the divide and want to break and want to put in more attention because they don't do music anymore or can't do it as great as Eminem, so they focus more on his color. They wanted him so bad to come to the interview and say, "Hey, I'm not a guest. You know what I do here. I'm a resident here. Don't give me that guest stuff." They wanted him to come out sling because that's more ammo and more they can push the divide. Because it sucks M. Because if M were to do that, just like us, we would have been sucked into this false battle, this false narrative, this false impression that hip hop is about guests and non-guests. We would have been sucked into that. And the more M played into that, then the more he confirms that that's what hip hop is about. So he decided to put a nail, no, not a nail. Well, yeah, we'll say a nail in another coffin and draw a line in the sand and say, "Hey, you know, this stops here. If y'all are on this guest thing, okay, I'm a guest. Can we get back to hip hop now? No more of that argument." Okay, because that's not what it's about. See this as an eye-opening to everyone, that you got someone that has done so much, that you have someone that has a right to say, "I'm not a guest." Because of all the work and all the people that they brung in and all the things that and how they have fought for hip hop year after year, for decades, for other people, for blacks and whites, award after award, people after people, putting people on, all the stuff that they have done more than anyone put together that's talking. You have someone that actually has a right to say, "I'm a resident," or "I'm among the greatest," because they have a record, they have the content, and they have everything to prove it. But still, and all of that, this person still say, "You know what? I'm just a guest, just doing my part." That's amazing. That's humbleness. That's self-control. That's love for the art. That's love for the hip hop. And it takes a lot of growing to get to that point, to be humble when you have every reason in the world to not be, I guess to say. I commend him. I wonder what I would do if the tables were turned, and if I can only hope that I would have been the same way in the midst of all my accomplishments, that I too would in that moment say, "Hey, you know what? It's not about me. It's not about that. I'm just a humble servant." That's amazing. Something to celebrate. It is an example for us all, whether you're a hater or not. Humbleness is an example for us all. Guys, I thank you guys for watching. As always, KIP. Keep it positive.